we had another item here and that was none. So now if I run this code, it says unsupported operand type for a none type. If you directly apply length here, it will throw an error, right? So if you want to apply any function of the string, you always have to use the string accessor here. Now our goal was that we wanted to find the last name of the company starting with A and ending with also A. So let's first check for the str. Welcome back to day 32 of the 100 days of hell with Python algo trading. Today we'll be learning about the vectorized operations on the string, because a lot of times you will be dealing with strings also. While dealing with strings, you have to deal efficiently. So far, we have not covered any session on which we have talked a lot about the strings, and we have not worked on these strings a lot. But this session will be completely dedicated to these strings, and we will learn amazing vectorized operations on the string. And once we are done with this, you will feel so powerful. You will be able to perform any operation on the strings, and you will realize that it is absolutely important in the algo trading. Because let's say sometime you have to analyze the technical data as well as fundamental data. So in that case, you should know that how to deal efficiently with these strings. So let's start and understand this topic deeply. And after that, we are just left with one topic, that is the visualization libraries. So in that, we will cover only one for now. That is the mother of all the visualization libraries. And after that, if required, we'll cover those in the midway, and we'll start with the core algo trading. So first, we will start with the time series analysis, because that is the base of algo trading, right? So we'll understand the time series in depth, and after that we will proceed on the algo trading concepts, right? I guess we have covered almost everything, right from the basics of Python to the Python libraries which are required, and also we'll cover one visualization library that will also help us a lot. So you can say that after this session we will be having 1 or 2 sessions, and then we are done with the Python and the libraries. And after that, we will be using all the concepts of Python and the Python libraries, which we have learned thoroughly for the past 1 month almost. Okay, let's start with the vectorized operations on the strings. So before that, let me tell you what is a vectorized function. So let me tell you this with the help of an example. First of all, I'll import Pandas and NumPy, and I'll hit Shift Enter, right? Now, let me add another cell here, and let's say we have a list. So let's say it is a price data. So 100, 200, 300, or 400 and 500, correct? So now we want to add 10 in all the items of the list. So with the help of Python, what we can do, we can simply run a for loop and we can add 10. So let me tell you how. So for I in price, then we can print I plus 10, right? And we can append in the list. Let's say we create an empty list here. We can say modified price, and this is a list. And now we can print the M price, right? So M price, and this is the modified list. So here it is okay. We are able to perform the desired operation, but the problem is that we know that Python lists are a little bit slower. So when we perform the same operation on a large data set, let's say we have 1 million items, so it will become slower. The first problem. The second problem is that it won't be able to handle the none values, because in the real life scenarios, we import the data or we fetch from somewhere. So we do not know that whether this data is perfect or not. So in that case, if we apply this one, it might break our code. Let's say we had another item here and that was none. So now if I run this code, it says unsupported operand type for a none type, right? So it will definitely break. So that is the problem, right? Again, let me show you one more thing. I'll take the same price. I'll write here, let's say tickers, and here I'll quickly give some tickers. So let's say Apple, we have Microsoft, we have Meta, and let's add a none value here, and also add another stock, let's say HPCL. Okay, now what we want to do, we want to, let's say, make these letters lowercase. So for that, what we can do, I can simply go here and I can write I dot lower, right? And I have the modified value. Let me first remove this, and it says, okay, this is ticker. Now you will see that we have all the tickers in the lowercase. Let's say we have a none value here. And definitely while dealing with the real life data, we'll be having some NN values and none values, right? So in that case, we should be able to handle that. Let's say we had here 1,000 triggers, and when we apply these kind of operations, what will happen? It will break the code. So that's the biggest problem. So that's why to resolve this issue, the Pandas came with an idea. Let me first tell you what are the vectorized operations. Let's say we have an array, np.array. Inside that, we have, let's say, 100, 200, 300, and 400, and 500, right? The same list we had here, right? This one, this price. So even we can take this from here and we can use it here. So what I will do, I'll give the price inside the array, correct? So now when you hit shift enter, you will see that we have an numpy array, and you can make it, let's say, np price. Okay. And now if you want to add something here, what you can do, you can simply write np price plus 10, and you will see that we have added 10 in every item. Means with the help of Python code, the for loops, we were running the loops, and you know the loops are slow. So that is the vectorized operation. Means we are performing any action on all the items in one go, and that makes it very faster. We are not using any loop here because numpy array is based on the C. So it is way faster, right, than the normal Python loops and lists. Now, again, the problem which we have seen in the Python, right, which is here, let me copy and paste here, that it won't be able to handle the none values, and also it is very slow, right? So now how Pandas solve this issue? Let's understand this. So what I'll do, I'll just copy the ticker list here. Now what we will do, we will create a Pandas series. So pandas dot series, and I'll pass a ticker here. And now when I hit shift enter, we have the Pandas series, right? Now I will just assign it to, let's say, ser. And now we perform the same operation which we were doing here. We were trying to do here. That is, we wanted to make all the letters in small case with the help of a loop by Python. So it was throwing the error. None type object has no attribute lower. So if I want to perform the same operation in Pandas, what I will do, I'll use str. This is known as the string accessor. So whenever you want to perform any string operation in Pandas series or data frame, you have to use the .str, string accessor. Then you can apply, let's say, lower. And when you hit shift enter, you will see that all the items are now in the lowercase, and the none value is still there, and it didn't throw any error. Means it is able to handle that problem very efficiently, correct? So I hope you are able to understand the basic things here. And I'm also trying my best to make you understand. That's why I'm spending a lot of time in basics, so that when you are dealing with the large amount of data set, you will have no problem, right? Now we know that it is fast and optimized and can handle any kind of data, right? So that's why we will be using the Pandas here. And we know that Pandas is built on the top of NumPy. So that's why it is also fast and efficient, and it can solve a lot of problems, right? Okay, now let's import some real world data sets. So what I did, I downloaded the S&P 500 companies data from the Kaggle. So I'll also upload this dataset to the GitHub, so you can use that. So let me import it. So pd.series, pd.read.csv, and you have to provide the name of the file, that is constituents financial CSV. And when you hit shift enter, you will see that we have the data of 505 rows and 14 columns, right? So inside that we have the symbol of the company, the name of the company, the sector, price earnings, dividend yields, and earning share, 52-week low, 52-week high, market cap, EBI, TDA, price sales, price books, and SEC filings, right? So basically here we are dealing with these strings today. So what we'll do today, we'll only use the string columns, right? The object columns. So for that, what I'll do, I'll just save this in a data frame, df, and then let's check the data types. So you can see here, it says invalid syntax, df.info. So now you can see that symbol is object, name object, sector object, and then the last SEC filings is also object. So we'll just fetch these items. So now what can I do? I can just go here and I can pass the values. That is, first is symbol, then we want the name, and then also we want the sector, and the last one is the SEC filings. So I'll just copy from here only. We have to pass inside a list. So now we have the symbol, name, sector, and SEC filings, right? What I'll do here, I'll reassign to something else, df, let's say s, that is strings, right? Now we can access the DFS, that is only the objects. Now we can start with this. So let's understand some common functions in the vectorized string operations, that is lower, upper, capitalize, and title. So what I'll do, I'll write DFS will access the str, and we can apply the lower. So you will see that it says data frame has no attribute str, because these attributes are for this series. So you have to fetch any single column from here. So let's say we fetch the name of the companies. So I'll access the single column. And now when we apply the lower, now you can see that we have 504 items. And if we perform the same operation with the help of Python list, it will become definitely slower, and it will be not able to handle the none value, right? We can also use the upper. So let me show you upper, and you'll see that by default they were already in uppercase, so doesn't make any difference. You can also use the capitalize. So in capitalize, what happens? It will capitalize the first letter, right? Then you can also use the title. So in title, it will capitalize the first letter of every word. You can see here. Now let's say if you want to find the length of the words, so what you can do, you can apply the length here, and you will see the length of all the characters, all the items, you can say. And let me show you that how you can use this. So let's say you apply a condition here, so that you want to print only the companies which have the name greater than the 12 characters. So I'll apply 12, and now we'll get a Boolean series, and you can simply use it as a mask, right? So I'll make it a mask. So these are the companies which have name greater than the 12 characters. You can even make it, let's say 18, and you will see that now we have only 173 companies. Let's say we make it 22. Now we have only 89 companies. And let's make it 40. Do we have any company with that? No, we do not have. With 30, we have few companies. The Alexandria Real Estate, American International, American Waterworks. These all are. So you get the idea that how you can use this. Next we have is this strip. So in strip, what happens? It will remove the trailing and leading spaces. So let me show you how. You can simply apply strip here, and you will see that if there was any space, the leading or trailing, it will be removed. So what happens sometimes we cannot see directly that whether there is a space or not. And when you perform any operation, it will throw an error, right? Because let's say you have a name and it starts with, let's say, company name. So there is a possibility that you have a space before C, and when you try to access the company column, it will not be accessed. So in that case, it is very helpful, and you should always apply this strip while data cleaning. Definitely you'll be doing that for sure in future, right? Now what we can do, we have another function that is split. So let me show you. It is also very useful. So let's apply split. So split, what we'll do, split will split all the items in a list. And so by default, it will split based on the spaces. So if you want to split, let's say based on the comma, so you can give comma here, and you will see that if there is any comma, then it will split. Otherwise, it will give you a whole single item, right? You can like do based on your requirement here, right? And so I'll just make it split. You can use it somewhere like you want to check that in each company, how many words are there. So let's say we can apply another function that is len. So it will calculate the length of words in a company's name. So if you directly apply length here, it will throw an error, right? So if you want to apply any function of the string, you always have to use the string accessor here, right? And now let's say you give a condition that I want to just see the name of companies which have more than 4 words. And you can again use it as a mask because we get a Boolean series. And when you apply it, and now you can see that we have only these companies which have more than 4 characters in their company name, right? Hopefully you are able to understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, now we have replace. So let's again take the same company name, and let's say we want to replace the space between the company name with a hyphen, right? So what you can do, first you have to use the str accessor, the string accessor, and then you have to apply the replace function. And here you can give that what you want to replace. So you want to replace this space with what, and now you can pass a hyphen here, and you will see that all these spaces have been replaced with the hyphen, right? You can replace with anything you want. You can replace with a backslash, you can replace with a forward slash. Forward cannot be because this is an escape character, so you have to use something else, which I'll show you in the regular expression, right? Yeah, it's quite useful actually if you want to use. And you can also remove the spaces. So sometimes what happens, you want to just remove the space from any name, right? You just want to have a continuous string. So in that case, you just have to first type the space here and then type a inverted comma without any space or anything. Just type the simply like this. You will get the string without any space, right? So it is also very useful, and you will be always using this with the strip functions we have used earlier and split. Okay, now we have filtering. So let's start with the starts with. So I'll again access the same name of the companies, and we'll use the str accessor, and we can use the function starts with. And let's say you want to filter out all the companies which are starting with the character capital A. So when you type that, and you will see that you will get a Boolean series, and you know that you can simply use it as a mask, and you will be having all the companies starting with the A. There are 63 companies which are starting with the A. Right. Similarly, you can use this with, let's say, Z. So for Z, you have just 3 companies: Zimmer, Zions, and Zoetis. Correct. You can also use this with the ends with. So let's say you want to check that how many companies are ending with the Z. So I'll change here to ends with. So these are the companies which are ending with A. Right? You can see here. Let's check for B. There are 2 companies, and you can check. Let's say D. There is no company with ending with D. Let's check for F. No. Let's check for S. We have only one company, ANSYS. Right? Okay. Now let's make a filter that we want to filter only those companies which are starting with A and ending with also A. Right? I'll just copy here the starts with, or let's take this only starting with A. Right? And when I hit shift enter, we get these companies. So now what we can do, we can enclose this. We can enclose this in a parenthesis, and we can copy and apply an AND operation here. And here we can change it from starts with to ends with. So our main goal is to find the companies which are starting with A and ending with also A. So now when I shift enter, we get a Boolean series, and now we want to make this as a mask. So I'll just enclose this in a square bracket, and the 2 companies which are starting with also A and ending with also A. I hope it's very clear to you, crystal clear, I would say. Okay, now let's check the functions isDigit and isAlpha. So I'll copy and paste the again, and let's apply that str dot isDigit, and when we do that, we get a Boolean series, and let's check and make it a mask, and you will see that there is no digit because all are the strings only here. You can also check for the alphabets that whether this is an alphabet or not. So I will just remove and make it alpha, and when you hit shift enter, you will see that we have only the companies which are the pure alphabets. There is no digit inside that, right? So I hope it's clear. And now let's move to the next, which is applying regular expressions. So actually for the regular expression, I wanted to have a separate class. So we'll do that actually in future whenever we think that it is required, right? So for now, we'll just have some basic operations, and I'll show you, and I'm sure that you will be able to understand that also. Very easy. Okay, now let's understand the contents. So what I'll do here, I'll simply go here and copy this series with the company name and hit shift enter. Okay, now let's search for the John. So str and apply the contains function, and here we can pass a string with John, and you will see that. Let's apply the mask here, and you will see that there is no company which is having the John. Let's make it capital J. Yeah, we have two companies which is having the John in their name, right? So now if you make it small j, you will see that it shows no results, right? But if you want to like ignore the case, so for that what you can do, you can simply go here and write case is equals to false, and then it will ignore the case and you will get the results. So if you have a little bit knowledge of Unix or Linux, you can relate this with that whenever we grab any string, we can use hyphen small I, and that will ignore the case. So same function here only, that it will ignore the case and you will get all the results which is having the John, correct? Even if you make it capital John, it will show you the results, right? Okay, now let's make it a little bit more complex. So what we'll do, we'll find that which company has the last name starting with also A and ending with also A, right? So what we can do, let's first print the name of the company. Okay, now we want to access the last name only. So for that, what we can do, we can simply access it with the string accessor. Then we can apply this split function. So we'll get a list, right? So now we want this one, the last. So to access the last element of any list, what we do, we simply use the indexing, and we'll use the reverse indexing, that is -1, and you will get the last name of every company. So now it's very simple. We will just store this in another column of the data frame, and let's give it the name as last name, correct? And hit shift enter. And now you can just comment it out for now. And now let's try to check the data frame which we created earlier. So you will see that we have another column with the last name only. So I'll just access this again, or let's copy it from here. Now first task is done. Now our goal was that we wanted to find the last name of the company starting with A and ending with also A. So let's first check for the str and starts with capital A, and you will get a Boolean series. So you can simply make it as a mask, and let's do that. And you will see that we have these many companies starting with the capital A. So now what you can do, we also have to check that it is ending with also A. So for that, what you will do, you will simply copy this, and let's give it a parenthesis, and here we'll apply another condition, and that is ends with also A, right? So ends with also A. And now when you hit shift enter, you will see that we have only these companies, 5 companies which have only capital A. So that's why we are getting this result. So I think you are able to understand that you can perform so many complex operations with this str accessor, the vectorized operations. Okay, now let's change it to small a. Then you will get these companies which are starting with capital A, only this, sorry, the America, starting with capital A and ending with also small a. Actually, this is just the last name. So for the full name, you can access the original data frame, right? Okay, now let me tell you the regular expression. We will have another class for that also definitely someday. But for now, let me tell you the power of the regular expression. It is a little bit complex. It's not that much, but a little bit have the learning curve in this. So let me show you how we can use the regular expression. So let's say we have this, we want to find out the last name of the company starting with a vowel and ending with also a vowel. So for that, str, you will write the contains, and here, what you will do, you will give a inverted comma, and then you will give this sign, upper arrow. It means starts with, right? Then you will write the letters, the vowels, that is A, E, I, O, U. And so when we hit shift enter, you will see that we have no company starting with the vowels, the small ones. So if I apply here the capital ones, you will see that we have few companies, that is 174 companies, starting with the capital I, means starting with the vowel. Then what we'll do, I'll apply a dot here, which represents that it is for the first group, right? Now I will just copy it, the whole string, and I will add a plus, means now we are talking about the next group. So, and I can also give here a dollar. Dollar means the last. This upper arrow means starts with, and dollar means ends with. So we are checking now that, so what are the company's last names starting with the vowels and ending with also vowel. It can be a lowercase or it can be a uppercase. So now when I shift enter, you will see that we have these many companies, only 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 companies, which have the last name as the ending and starting with the vowel. So that is the regular expression, and we'll be using this a lot. So we'll be learning along with that. Okay. Now the last is slicing. So slicing is very easy. Let me show you how. So what I'll do here, I'll take this column and paste it here. And so we have already understood the slicing a lot of times. So what I'll do here, that I'll show you again that let's say str and we apply a slicing. So first I'll give just a colon, means it will print all the companies. Now let's say I want to print only the initial 5 characters. So I will give 0 here, and here 5, means it will print from 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, right? So you will get only the initial 5 characters of any company. Now let's say you want to reverse the name. I know this doesn't make any sense, but let's do that. So you will get all the name of companies in the reverse order, right? So that's how you can use the slicing. And this was it for the vectorized string operations, and it is very easy. Just practice few questions which we are given in the multiple choice questions and on the website task. So you can proceed with that, and also you can work on the mini project which we have given in the GitHub. So yeah, if you have any doubt, please let us know in the comments and we'll get in touch with you. So for now, this is it, and we'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye bye, take care, have a nice day.